Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolfnest Property Management. Today we're going to be talking about how landlords or DIY landlords should choose the best method for collecting rent, because there's obviously a couple different options for you to use. So, you know, usually one of the most gratifying points or parts of being a landlord is getting that rent money each month. Now, depending on where you are in proximity to your property or how many properties you have, actually collecting rent can almost become a burden. Now, the collection space has come a long way, in the last 2 decades. You're no longer having to go and knock on the door of your tenants to grab that check or cash each month. But let's kind of look at some of the different options you as a DIY landlord can use. And if you're not aware of them, it's something that you may want to implement. Now, again, the more traditional methods, that would be having your tenant, put a check in the mail, send it over to you, or again, cash. If they want to come and drop off cash to your home or your business each month, okay, that's great. Or obviously you going to the property and collecting that yourself. Also, money orders are something that you can use, almost like a certified funds, or going to like a Walmart or 7-Eleven. A lot of times we'll have those options where they can actually pay cash. If you have an account set up, it will be deposited into your account usually same day. Now, one of the pros is that a lot of times if it's cash, it's going to be obviously usable already right then and there. A downside is if, with checks, if they're mailing a check to you, they may send it on the 1st, you receive it the 3rd or the 4th, and then by the time you deposit it and it clears, you could be closer to the 10th of the month. So just kind of keep in mind, if you are going to be accepting checks, that especially if you're going to be accepting checks in the mail, if it's post stamped for the 1st, you actually may not have those funds closer to the 10th. So just something to keep in mind. Now, this is something that a lot of DIY landlords are using nowadays, is more the electronic piece of it. So now there's a couple different things you can use. Obviously, people are familiar with something like Venmo is a great one. I know a lot of landlords are using Venmo. Also, you can use something like PayPal. Now, not everyone has a PayPal account, but again, if the tenant does, it's pretty easy to set up if you do not have one. And the great thing about Venmo and PayPal is that it's almost trackable, where that's some downside with cash sometimes, is that, did the tenant pay me this month? Yes or no? I can't remember. I didn't deposit it into my normal account, but I just used that cash. It's hard for you to track and show that they've actually paid. Now, with more of the electronic payments, you're actually going to have almost like a ledger, right? Where you can see, tenant at this property submitted, $2,000 on the 1st of December. So that's a great way for you to be able to see, okay, yes, they actually have paid rent this month. Now, only downside with PayPal and Venmo is there usually is going to be some sort of transactional fees, especially if you want a direct deposit or have that cash immediately. Otherwise, there will be a slight delay transferring it from your account into your bank account or checking. Now, Zelle and Apple Pay, those are great because they don't charge any fees, but the only downside is that, for Apple Pay, you and the tenant need to have Apple products to be able to do that. So not all tenants are going to have Apple or iPhones. They may have a Droid. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Now, there's also things like Rent Track, which is really a software that DIY landlords can buy. And a lot of times these type of programs are actually going to have tenant screening, which is another benefit that you can use. There may be some additional charges to it, but it will give you, again, more of that ledger and that trackability that you're looking for. So choosing what is the best rent collection method, it really boils down to you and the tenant. Having those clear expectations up front is something that can help minimize any late payments or no payments, because the tenant was confused on how they're supposed to pay. So again, set those clear expectations up front before you have them sign the lease. Make sure that they understand that, hey, I'm going to be using PayPal, or I'm going to be using Venmo or Apple Pay. Do you have an iPhone? Or if they are going to be paying with cash or check, again, just make sure that you have some sort of bookkeeping system in place so that you can make sure that when they actually pay. So if you have any questions about this or want to discuss how we handle our rent collection, give me a call. There's my email and my phone number. Love to discuss your portfolio and see if we could be a good fit for your needs. Thank you.